everybody, what's going on? This is Danelle at Networkchain. There has been a ton of news in the cryptocurrency market over the past week. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $104,802. It is basically flat over the last 7 days. It did reach up to around 108. 109. Let's go ahead and check it right here. If we look at Bitcoin over the past week, you can see that it reached up to, let's see, it was about 108,000 on January 20th of last week. And then it kind of came back down to the $100,000 range. And now we're kind of vacillating a little bit, staying in that 100,000 range, 104,000 range, basically for the week. As you can see, over the past month, we've done a little bit of dipping, but then we've come up, and now we're starting to see whether or not it will be able to hold above 100,000. Now, as we talked about a little bit last week, it'll be interesting to see if we'll get a chance to make the next move up, or are we going to continue to consolidate in this $100,000 range that we're currently in. But if we do stay above that $100,000 level, it's definitely a good sign that we could be seeing another leg up in the future. But obviously time will tell. We'll keep you posted as usual. As we look at the rest of the top 10, you can see Ethereum is basically flat as well over the last 7 days. It's currently trading at around $3,300. Still has yet to get back to that $4,000 level. A lot of Ethereum holders are hoping that it'll start to make a move at some point, because it's still losing against Bitcoin currently when you look at that ETH over BTC chart. XRP is still at the number 3 slot, still above Tether at $180 billion market cap. It's currently trading at $3.13. You have Solana at $256. It's up about 1% over the last 7 days. BNB number 6. You have the stablecoin USDC. Dogecoin still the top meme coin of them all, currently trading at 35 cents. It's actually down almost 12% over the past week. Cardano is back in the top 10 at number 9, trading at almost $1 at 98 cents, but it's still down, as you can see, at 9.77% at the time of this recording. And you have Tron and Chainlink and Avalanche rounding out the top 12. So one of the biggest news stories over the past week is what's been happening in the United States with regards to some of their transformations and reversals with regards to regulations with cryptocurrencies and digital assets, including Bitcoin. As you can see here, the Securities and Exchange Commission, they are the commission that basically regulates when it comes to securities that are selling on the open market. And they announced that they will be having a new crypto task force, and it'll be dedicated to developing clear regulatory frameworks, marking a shift away from its previous enforcement-focused approach to digital assets. So they were kind of suing certain cryptocurrency companies without necessarily having the legislation. They're really the regulators. They are the ones to, like the police of the securities laws, but they don't make the laws. And so it seemed like they were making some or taking some action without necessarily having the legal framework in place. And so that's why a lot of people in the cryptocurrency community were upset with the way that the SEC had been handling the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. So now this is a positive when it comes to at least getting some more information. So hopefully this task force will do the research and will be dedicated to making sure that there's a clear understanding as to what these cryptocurrency companies and crypto native companies can and can't do when it comes to the market and the open markets. And because at the end of the day, the SEC, part of their role is to so-called protect investors. So obviously there's the freedom to be able to invest in whatever you want to invest, but they also have certain rules and regulations to try to prevent scams as much as possible and to prevent people from losing their money without having the knowledge and understanding of what they're investing into. So you can see here that the task force aims to address custody rules that have previously hindered crypto product innovation, according to Lynch, who is the founder and president of the strategic consultancy firm Frontline Compliance. And the current custody rules that exist do not account for cryptocurrencies or digital assets. So there's definitely going to be a lot of time that will be put into this new task force, but hopefully it could be a good sign for things to come when it comes to holding and transacting with digital assets. Another big announcement that came out of the Securities and Exchange Commission is that they are rescinding what was called SAB 121, which stands for Staff Accounting Bulletin. And this was really important because it's rescinding SAB 121, which basically was an accounting rule that had to do with certain firms and institutions like banks and things of that nature, that they had to basically show, if they were to put cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin on the balance sheet, it would show as an impediment, it would show as a loss, as opposed to actually being able to use the current value of Bitcoin at the time when they're coming out with their disclosures every quarter and every year. And so this is going to be a new accounting system that will be able to be used when it comes to cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin. And so now that's going to potentially open up the bigger banks like Bank of America, whose CEOs recently commented that with open regulation that you could see more banks then decide to custody Bitcoin, so people like me and you could then be able to, if we want to. Now, the great thing about Bitcoin is that you have the opportunity to self-custody your own digital assets, but some people do not feel comfortable with self-custodying their assets, and so they would prefer to have their funds, just like a lot of us have our fiat currencies, in a bank. They would prefer to have a bank, for example, to be able to hold and custody their Bitcoin. So with this rule being rescinded, this will definitely open the opportunities for banks to be able to hold Bitcoin. Another major news story is that Blackrock, which is the largest issuer of the Bitcoin ETF in the United States, IBIT, they are now looking to see if they can get cash redemptions for their spot ETFs. So basically what that means is, or I should say, they're trying to see if you will be able to have in-kind redemption. So before it was only cash redemption. So basically what that meant was, whenever you bought into these Bitcoin ETFs, you would only be able to then get cash when you were trading on the open markets. So when you bought the Bitcoin ETFs, you use fiat currency, and then if you wanted to take profits or whatever the case may be, you would then be able to get cash redemptions. But now, if you choose, you will be able to, if this is going to move forward on the NASDAQ, then they will now allow you to redeem those Bitcoin ETF holdings into actual Bitcoin. So then you can take that Bitcoin and put it into your self-custody wallet if you want, or transfer to another brokerage, whatever the case may be. But basically, you'll be able to have it in Bitcoin, as opposed to having to have that, what could be a taxable event, by trading it into US dollars. From what I'm understanding, there's a possibility that you could have that redemption in Bitcoin, and so there could be some tax advantages to being able to do that. So obviously we'll learn more as that comes out, but this is something that could be huge when it comes to people who are interested in investing in these Bitcoin ETFs and having the ability to transfer and have that money turned back, or that value, I should say, turned back into Bitcoin. We are seeing that volumes are continuing to grow, and this obviously could be a good sign for the cryptocurrency market as a whole. And with Bitcoin having one of the largest trading volumes this past Wednesday, one of the most, I should say, one of the highest volumes that they've ever had. When you look at Wednesday's volume, last Wednesday, the volume hit $130 billion, one of the highest trading volumes in history. So you can see that futures trading volumes as well as ETFs trading volumes were high, with ETF volume at around 5 billion last Wednesday. So it just goes to show the demand that's coming in to Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. You can see Utah is just another one of the U.S. states that are now looking to invest in Bitcoin, and some other states are looking to invest not only in Bitcoin but potentially other cryptocurrencies as well. So they are introducing a bill that will allow the state treasurer to invest some of the public funds into cryptocurrencies. So now we're looking at the treasuries of states, of these governmental entities that are looking to invest in the cryptocurrencies. And then you have pension funds that are, some of them, there's a few that have already started to invest in Bitcoin. So we're starting to see that this is just getting started. So this is why a lot of people are speculating that Bitcoin could continue to do extremely well this year and the years to come, because we're just at the very beginning stages. So you're definitely not late. You can stack sats. You can start with 1, start with 10, start with 100, however many you can get whenever it's possible. This is the time to learn about the market, and obviously you want to do your research and take as much time as you need to learn about this burgeoning asset class. As you can see here in this map, these are, right now it's about 10 states or so, so about 1/5 of the United States at this point are looking to invest into digital assets. They have either have already started investing into Bitcoin, or have started to invest, or I should say accept Bitcoin for taxes and things of that nature, or they have now introduced legislation to then go through the process of hopefully being approved to then buy and hold Bitcoin on their reserves. And so we're seeing that this at some point will become more and more orange when we look at this map of the United States. Once again, more and more demand. And of course, MicroStrategy, as a public company, the largest holder of Bitcoin, over the past week acquired another 11,000 Bitcoin, now holding 461,000 Bitcoin. If we go to our trusty Bitcoin treasuries, as you can see here, they are now, well, have always been for a while now. I shouldn't say always, but for a while now, are not the top holders of Bitcoin at 461,000. You have some of the miners and some other companies here as well, but we're probably at some point going to be adding another category. You have private companies, private, and then governments you see here, and then soon I'm sure they'll probably have some of the United States that are going to be listed here. But if we look and go back to the very top, you can see this is going back to around the beginning of, or I should say at the last Bitcoin halving, which was around April of 2020. You can see that the numbers and the demand is starting to go up over these last couple of years, particularly as we started to go into this bull run beginning, I would say really around the beginning of January of 2023 is when you really started to see Bitcoin start to make its move and head up and to the right. And as that's happening, you can see the demand and the amount of private companies, governments, DeFi, ETFs, public companies are starting to add to their stash as the Bitcoin continues to go up. And obviously with the more demand that's coming into the space, Bitcoin's price most likely will continue to go higher, because once again, Bitcoin is hard money. There's only 21 million that will ever be in existence. So we will make sure to keep you posted along the way. And we thank you so much once again for watching. So until next time, we look forward to linking up with you on the network chain. Bye-bye.